Yeah.
It used to be free. Now you will need $20 a month. That's currently, if we're going by what the Kenyan currency is, then to the greenback, you'll be departing with something like 3,000 shillings per month.
To get
per
a
month,
green badge.
to get the blue tick here.
Yep. And
what do you think of it?
Not bad at all.
No, why? How?
Listen, but a lot of people, those who can afford, will actually go ahead and get that account to be verified, whether it's legit or not. To some extent, it was good when they had to actually make sure that your account is actually legit. Whatever you actually post on that account, some people can actually come to your account to find information that it's accurate.
Isn't it?
But when we go this particular route, it's a little bit tricky.
It's a bit tricky,
because
isn't it?
a lot of people are going to be going for that. So
if you can afford 2,000 shillings this month,
the blue badge, if you can
go right in, get a badge. Yeah. Interesting, Amwai. Now let me tell you what Elon Musk is talking about this morning. This is somebody called Stephen King. They say $20 a month for my blue check, the one that's with F and ends with K, that they should pay me. If that gets instituted, I'm gone, like Enron. Then Elon Musk comes back and tweets on that particular one. I mean, we need to pay the bill somehow. Twitter cannot rely entirely on advertisers. How about $8? Amwai, are you ready? Are you ready for that?
80 or 8?
About $8. Yeah? Now he's saying it doesn't. We don't make it $20 now. Can we make it $8 a month then, so that then we can actually get to pay bills?
Wait a minute. We are paying for it on a monthly basis.
Yeah, it's a monthly basis. It's you gotta part with 3,000 shillings now if you're Kenyan. Then
I don't think I'm
to get the blue.
To go for that. I don't think I need it for that purpose though, because it made a lot of sense.
Yeah.
When it was meant to check whether your account is legit. When people come to your account and find that you're actually verified, they're able to trust the information that you post on Twitter. But right now, if you are told we can actually be paying for that, then nah.
Talk about it, isn't it? And this is exactly what I wanted to talk about again, Amwai. As we start today, by the way, you have to know that inflation is at 9.6%. Oh my God, we're just 0.4 points away from 10%, which we witnessed back in 2017, and that was at the height of the post-election violence. And why? Things are not good. But here's the thing, though. I'm going to ask you a question. And I'm going to ask you the way I saw it. Ni biashara gani watu dharau, but iko na pesa mob? You know, you gotta do business now, Amwai, to substitute on your income, because indeed, if it's 9.6, then that's something that we're going to fight with for the next 1 month or so, towards the end of this year. So it's going to be Christmas as usual. Now, Amwai, I want you to listen keenly to this before we take a tiny breather and come and tell you what it is that you're waking up to your newspapers. Number one, so somebody is saying, kuuza mayai. Now listen, per day, unaweza uza mayai 50, right?
Okay.
Listen keenly. 1 egg is 20 shillings, okay? Fine, we do know that. So per day, it's 20 shillings.
It's 25.
It's 25.
Really
okay, let's put it at 20 shillings, isn't it?
Okay.
But I bought one yesterday at 20 shillings.
Okay.
Mnagongo huko kwenyu. Anyway, 1 egg is 20 shillings, isn't it? All right. Per day, that's 50 times 20, which gives you 1,000 bob.
Okay.
Think about it, okay? All right, per week, that's 1,000 times 7. If you work 7 days a week, that was going to give you 7,000 bob, all right? Now, per month, the math keeps on becoming better. That is 7,000. If you work for 30 days in a month, that's going to be 21,000. Now listen, per month, it's going to be 210,000. Per year, it's going to be 365 times 210,000, which is going to give you 76,650,000. Then he said, think about it. Do you know where the math started not mathing? The math did not math at per month, which is 7,000 times 30. All right? Gives you what?
21.
21. But then this guy got 210,000. And then per year, he went on to multiply. If you work for 365 days a year selling eggs, that's going to be 365 times 210,000. But then that's the wrong month.
Yeah.
Because 365 times 210,000 is gotten that, it's taken that figure for per month and it's changed into per day. So it's gotten 76,650,000. It's like, think about it. You're going to be a millionaire if you sell eggs. Let me just stop with that. Amwai, which business do you think has money that majority of people don't think so?
Funny enough, I've never thought about that.
Think about it.
I've never sat down and just thought about it and say, this is something that somebody could actually invest in and has a lot of money and people are not, trying their luck in that. Because I believe quite most of the things, legit things, that is legit money, you have to work so hard for it. So I don't know.
Na chapo? In one chapati in some place. Yeah, right? I believe it's daylight robbery when you sell a chapati at 40 shillings. Wow, 40. Imagine. Anyway, Amwai, let's take a tiny breather right here on on Lookuptv. I was almost saying look up business. It's going to come from 11 to 12. Fine. But for now, on the morning drift, once we come back, we'll be telling you exactly what is trending this morning in as far as your dailies are concerned. Right, welcome back. My name is Simba Kiage. I am with the man himself, Brian Amwai. Guess what? Is that Amwai Brian on Twitter? I am at Kiage Simba. All right, so let's get connecting on that so we can talk about it. Amwai, you do have the Daily Nation.
Yes,
what are the headlines?
The headline on the Daily Nation, we have Kinoti, a man on the cross in nasty feud. Now, this is the thing. As the new regime probes alleged excess of officers under him, now the former head of the Directorate of Criminal Investigations looks like a man who will perhaps carry the cross of the sins of the Uhuru presidency and a political tit-for-tat game that has been gathering pace since the swearing in of William Ruto. Let me just take a quote from what Nurdin Haji says. Now, he said, Nurdin Haji, the head of the prosecutions, has hinted at the arresting and charging of Kinoti over Gachagwa's case, saying the former DCI boss was a colleague, this is a quote, was a colleague, and I don't want to take advantage of the situation, but if the law was broken, that person will face the law. That is happening right now. Kind of some people wondering whether it's a political witch hunt or it's actually we are pursuing justice for the people that have been affected under the past regime. That's the Daily Nation, and the story is on page 2 and 3. You can grab the copy of that and actually take a look.
I'm going to ask you about this, though, Amwai. This tussle between the DCI and DPP. I mean, we've seen it. We've been treated to this for a couple of years now. I mean, those are guys who've never really gotten along. Think about it, because now, yes, we do have a new DCI. Do you think that this is going to continue in this new administration? Because here's a famous soundbite that we do have from the deputy president, that we're looking for a professional DCI, not a drama queen or a politician. Do you think it's going to stop? Because even after Kinoti is out of office, in that particular respect, the DPP is on him as well. Yeah, do you remember they actually did the famous handshake when they said there's no problem between these two?
Exactly.
Now it's now spilling. I do not know. Do you think it's good for him that he went along and did that interview?
No. I don't know. I really can't speak of that.
Yeah.
But from where we sit as the media and from how things are playing, I don't think it looks good for either of the side, that both the DCI and the DPP, both the offices, exactly when these are officers that have been mandated to, deal with very pertinent issues in the country. But when it comes to, dealing with the same, just like you mentioned, the division that we saw some time back, and right now people going for each other's neck and things like that, it doesn't sit well. I don't know.
Now, I will tell you though, isn't it? Because that's the same story that has been headlined by the Standard, by the way. But just put it on the side because you've mentioned it. If you're going to read into that story, then you've got to grab a copy of the Standard and go to page 6 as well. And this is what they're calling it, Amwai. Anger greets Haji's shock confessions. It's like majority of people do not really like exactly what I was saying. And that's why I'm asking you, was it okay for him to go right ahead and do that tell-all interview? But here's the thing, though, that you got to read on the National, on the Standard, sorry, on page 9. Jumai now says the new CS for public service, isn't it? She's saying that civil servants will get a raise in 100 days. Amwai, we should go to civil service. Get that raise, Bwana. Wow, in 100 days, that's 3 months from now, isn't it?
Now, this is the thing. When you look at this administration to some extent, everybody is having their own agenda. What are we exactly pushing? I was made to understand that the administration itself as a whole needs to have a particular agenda.
Harmonized agenda.
The cabinet secretaries come on board to push that agenda in their different ministries. But what we are seeing is cabinet secretaries having their own agendas and seem to be working for, a different government or a government of their own. And at the same time, losing the main, task that they're supposed to be doing. And that is pushing the Ruto agenda, whatever they campaigned on and all that. Because at the end of the day, we are going to miss the point. We are going to miss the goal that you're supposed to be to have actually be focusing on.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because the president is saying we're going to cut expenditure by 300 billion as a lot of money, isn't it, Amwai? And then Aisha Juma comes in and says civil servants are going to get a raise in 100 days.
I saw someone ask whether these people really did understand the Kenya Kwanza manifesto. Was that a consideration? And I remember we were having that discussion and he said probably, why were they chosen? Because they did understand. Probably they sat on the table and helped craft it.
Yeah.
But as we move along and we see the kind of pronunciations they're making, then you're like, did they really understand this manifesto? Are they here to push the agenda of the government or their own personal agenda to some extent, just to look like they're working on things like that?
I'll tell you, man. These are some of the things that we're going to look into. And then I think that's exactly what the Standard is headlining. Okay. And there are now experts who are asking Ruto to focus on grafts than taxes. By the way, have you seen how much you're going to pay for tax? Amwai, in
this is the thing, because and we are having this conversation because somebody, the former president, that is Uhuru Kenyatta, some time back he said 2 billion shillings is lost on a daily. You understand? So it's 2 billion shillings that is lost on a daily, and we need, before we start looking for taxing Kenyans even more, we need to have sealed the loopholes that we lose money to, because it will not make sense that we continue to collect a lot of money and yet that money cannot actually be accounted for.
Isn't it?
Totally doesn't make any sense.
It really doesn't make sense, isn't it? Yeah. I wish I would also engage our online community, by the way. There are comments that are coming online on our Facebook community. I've just realized I'm not logged in one. But we're going to log in after this. Yeah? Just woke up this morning and bam. I need to have a Facebook account because I would have logged into mine. Anyway, for those comments that are coming in, keep them coming in. We're going to look at them. And then, Amwai, on the page 3 of the Standard as well, that particular story that we did see, Tech National headlines, about the boy who was stuck with a djembe, all right, and waited for 14 hours at the Kenyatta National Hospital. Now, the mom, by the way, went to the Senate committee and they did hear her case. And we do expect, by the way, that legal proceedings are going to be pushed towards Kenyatta National Hospital for a case of negligence. That's exactly what the Senate did call it yesterday. And this is what they're saying. That a medical officer told the family to pay 20,500 shillings before Travis, that's the late Travis Kubisen, and Omar said Kenyans should have access to medical care without being turned away over funds. But I saw that case when she was weeping uncontrollably and narrating the story to the Senate House, and you could see indeed Amwai that majority of those senators that were really caught by her ordeal. So it's a developing story. We're going to see exactly what happens as well in this particular one.
It was painful, Simba. It is painful to lose a child. And I feel for the parent and I feel for the entire family that they had to go through this, and also just presenting themselves before the Senate and having to relive that again, exactly everything that happened step by step. So, it is really painful, and the Senate said probably we can't actually pass judgment right now and say who is at fault. We also have to listen to the side of the Kenyatta National Hospital. So we expect any time they'll be actually making their way to the Senate, and have a sit down and also explain their side of the story and say this is exactly what happened. But at the end of the day, we just hope that justice is served, and whatever comes, whether, you know, it's not going to bring back the child,
yeah,
but at some extent just, you know, reduce the pain that they are actually going through at this particular moment. Because
gotta talk about
justice. That's what they're seeking for.
So got to talk about that, man. It's a story that grabbed national headlines. So we need to see exactly what happens and why we do have a couple of 10 minutes. Do you want me to tell you something about Arsenal today?
Okay, no, before you get to Arsenal,
yeah.
Now this is the thing, Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga says follow the law in bid to raise taxes. He's telling the president, and that is William Ruto. He was speaking yesterday when he attended the funeral of the mother to Kakamega governor, that is Fernandes Baraza.
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
The decision to increase taxes needs public participation. There should be no taxation without representation. That is a quote by Raila Odinga, and that story is on page 6 of the Daily Nation. You can get, or rather grab that particular copy and get to read that particular story. Do we?
Yeah.
We were just talking about that this particular moment.
Yeah, I will tell you that, by the way. And we're going to look into that as well. Yeah. So now tonight, the Champions League matches are happening. I think Chelsea is playing, and Man City as well. And Liverpool will be playing as well. No, Liverpool is on Wednesday. But just an update, Arsenal is still leading. There's a story. I'm not making this up. It's right here on page 38 of the Standard. And they're calling this as Arsenal Man United sound the battle cry. That's a wrong headline. I normally have a problem with sport journalism in this country. Right. Arsenal Man United sound the battle cry. Why are you including Man United in that headline? I don't see it. And then they say the Gunners continue to provide the latest evidence of its growing belief. Fine. But then they say the Red Devils demonstrate character that is developing under Ten Hag. Where? Where? I mean, Amwai, listen, there's something we call goal difference, okay? Now listen, why I'm discrediting this headline. Okay. If you look at the goal difference of Man United, they have one goal. The goals they've been scored versus the goals they've scored, yeah? It's only one. There's a team called Man City that has 26 as a goal difference, and Arsenal have 19 as a goal difference. You see how this headline is wrong? I mean, if we're going to see a resurgent Man United, then some of these factors then would work out. But you guys have a 1+1 goal difference, and you're saying Arsenal Man United sound the battle cry. I know the guys who are listening about this.
You're making it so personal. It's like there's somebody you're targeting.
That's it. This is the wrong headline, guys. Here's the thing. If you go to page 38 of the Standard, do not read that story. There's a wrong story there. We should address the editor and tell them, if you're making headlines, then make proper headlines, sports-wise. And Amwai is going to be an Arsenal fan at the end of this season. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Anyway, do we take a break and come back and see what's trending?
Get a chance to wake up as a tourist as you view Mount Kenya every day by buying a plot of land at Wema Gardens, Naru. Vera.
Leo kwa mara ya kwanza, mpenzi mtazamaji, tuko Githogoro Village ambapo mwanabiashara Carol anatekeleza kazi
license to kill, forge, fake, and frame in line with the traditions of the Sicilian mafia isn't the way. That's exactly what he's talking about. Yep. And a lot of reactions on this particular one. And can I pick one? All right. This is what they're saying. this is according to Arab Doyle, all right? It's saying the framing of the article is an interesting one. It covertly and subtly paints Kinoti as a victim of a political witch hunt, albeit cleverly and cunningly. It may not be a surprise considering the writer was one of the chief voices Kinoti used to prosecute cases in the media.
You know.
But yeah, Kinoti, the DPP also did say that we were actually pushed by the media as well in terms of framing and then in the way news were done in the media just to prosecute guys around. It did say that. Like, I was always a man under threat. Yeah? And if you look at the framing of that article, by the way, which was...
How bad was the previous regime, Simba? Because a lot of things that are happening right now paint that particular regime as, you know, very toxic to some extent, for lack of a better word.
Is that Kinoti now making us... sorry, is that the DPP making us realize like that it was that bad?
You look at everything that has unfolded ever since this new regime came in place, then you look at the previous regime and wonder what exactly was happening in this country. Were we under a mafia? Who exactly was ruling this country? But that's the thing. Let's not forget that a lot of these leaders that are right now making all these calls belong to the previous regime. They can't be separated from that, both in 2013 to 2017 and 2017 to 2022. That's a fact. We can't run away from that. It's not a new government.
It's not essentially a new government, isn't it, Amwai?
So if these things were happening, most of them knew
that they were actually going on, isn't it?
They didn't speak about it at that particular moment. So don't come out right now and start acting as if everything is just new and you just gotten here and you know, most of the things that are unfolding, you have no idea how they were unfolding. You are interacting with these people. Let me just take a comment from Gadoni wa Mushomba. They say this year Kinoti was getting orders from some powerful corners, selective justice, arrest so and so. We saw it every Friday. Now, do you remember Kamata Friday? I remember that though. They wanted to make sure they persecute selectively some people because of their political association. That is Gadoni wa Mushomba.
Quite critical, really, when you look at it. But you know what they say, Amwai? That they've come in with a promise that things are going to change. In fact, the slogan is freedom is here. So let's see exactly how but we've seen already the reforms, isn't it? The SSC unit within the DCI has already been disbanded. And if you listen to the president this weekend, on Sunday, we're doing another Thanksgiving service. That's what they called it. That's what they called it. I'm just saying it, whatever it is. We're doing another Thanksgiving service.
At the end of the month, and we normally do that every month. So it's
when is the State House one happening? Anyway, because they said they will be doing monthly. Anyway, but this is what he said though. He said that the extrajudicial killings have to stop. And so probably this is exactly what we're going to see, isn't it? And it's turning out that the DPP painted himself as a man who was always on the losing end whenever then the DCI and the DPP's officers were put on the same level.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what he painted. But anyway, Amwai, let's talk about this shortly then before we take that break.
Could I take a comment here in regards to that?
Please,
I think it's kind of, to some extent. Let's say Nudin Haji, this is Sahala, I think from somebody from my area. Nudi Haji is a sophisticated snitch, throwing George Kinoti under the bus just to keep his job. Was he that careless to act on Kinoti's directions without fact-checking? Some of the questions that people are raising are actually legit.
But he said...
If you had open differences in the past, then to some extent you could come out and say, by the way, I don't understand what is happening here and we are not going to prosecute this. You know, we are here to listen. We are the media. We could actually, you know, air your stories and do all that. But if you went ahead and did it, acted together, and now you come and say, by the way, we are getting orders from so and so.
It doesn't really write well, isn't it? But guess what, Amwai? We leave it there for now.
Okay.
That's for us. We can only talk about it, man. Anyway, hopefully the things are gonna change. The freedom that were promised is already on the way. It's 3 months in, isn't it? Anyway, time moves very fast, man. Can't believe. It's like a short break. Once we come back, I'll be taking you straight into the newsroom so that I can tell you some of the headlines then that you're waking up to this morning once we come back.
Vera Beauty and Fashion College is focused on being the leading technical and vocational training institute in the region. Our team possesses in-depth knowledge and extensive experience in the industry, offering thorough training in cosmetology, hairdressing, interior design, creative arts, training of trainers, nail technology, and fashion design. With branches in Nairobi, Thika, Meru, Eldoret, and now in Mombasa, our courses ensure that learners are completely equipped with knowledge, competency, and employability skills. Enroll today to be a part of a center of excellence.
Good to have you join us on Heart to Heart.
We bring you stories of people who, despite the pressures they experienced, still trusted God to see them through.
The seeds that was sown in me helped me navigate and overcome that period of my life.
New testimonies, new insights, and even better revelation of the good things God has in store for us.
There is always a blessing waiting for someone in every episode.
For all your football, F1, and World Cup kits, Carrington Sportswear Hub is your plug for quality, sporty merchandise. Call us on 0703 484 481.
Leo kwa mara ya kwanza, mpenzi mtazamaji, tuko Githogoro Village ambapo mwanabiashara Carol anatekeleza kazi yake ya uzaji wa mawe.
Welcome back to the Morning Drift. My name is Simba Kiage. Let's cross over then to the newsroom so we can get to show you some of the headlines that you are waking up to this morning. And remember, you can be part and parcel of this broadcast this morning online at Lookuptv across all your social media platforms. I am at Kiage Simba. Now, the 9 police officers accused of killing 2 Indians and their driver will be detained for 3 more days until Thursday, when the court will rule on whether the state will be allowed to hold them for 30 days or not. This is after the court granted the prosecution side 3 days to file their response against the evidence that has been produced by the accused persons. Shadrach Kareria opens our broadcast this morning.
The 9 Special Service Unit officers appeared in court for the 3rd time. The state, through a miscellaneous application filed at Kahawa Law Court before Chief Magistrate Diana Mochache, argued that more time is needed to subject the suspect to a DNA test, as well as to probe the confiscated mobile phones. The state also asked for more time to go through the new affidavits filed by the suspect. Ms. Mochache said that given on how bulky the document filed as the replying affidavit by the defense is, there was a need for more time to prepare for detailed replying affidavit to that effect.
However, 7 days is too many in my view. The prosecution have granted only 3 days to file and serve their responses.
The 9 police officers, through their lawyers, maintained that the case is politically sponsored, as they opposed the statement by the prosecution that the 9 suspects were at Mombasa Road when the 2 Indian nationals and their driver were abducted.
That we raised in the replying affidavit that has occasioned these are 13 reasons. 1, The state says all the 9 people were on Mombasa Road during the abduction. We have produced evidence that not all of them were in Mombasa Road. The second respondent was with his wife at home, and we have raised a defense of an alibi. So the state found itself completely flat-footed, alleging that all the 9 people were on Mombasa Road.
Magistrate Muchache refused to release the suspect on a bond, stating that they will remain behind bars until on Thursday this week, when the court will decide on whether to release them on a bail or not.
So long as they are put on bail, on bond. As we have no problem, the state's taking their sweet time. Let them be entered on bail, bond.
Responses. Secondly, bail is denied at the moment. The respondents shall remain in custody until when this matter is heard and determined.
The court proceedings will continue on Thursday, that is after the prosecution side has gone through the affidavit filed by the respondents. Reporting for Lookuptv from Kahawa Law Court in Nairobi County, my name is Shadrach Kareria.
ODM leader Raila Odinga has ruled out the steps taken by the government to charge more taxes to Kenyans who are currently facing economic instability. Speaking at a funeral ceremony of the late murdered Kakamega Governor Fernandez Baraza, Raila has said that devolution is mandatory in the growth of a country, as the taxation is a harsh pinch to the common mwananchi. Moses Okech tells us more.
The funeral home of the late mother to Kakamega Governor Fernandez Baraza at Muhoroni Primary School in Mumias West constituency was this Sunday the meeting point to the ODM party under its flag bearer, Raila Odinga, and his allies. Odinga took to stage to oppose the move by the Kenya Kwanza government to impose more taxes to Kenyans, having in mind the economic tussle and the poor situation they bear.
Hawezi kusema ati atabagua Kakamega kwa sababu nyinyi mlipiga kura kwa Azimio, apeleke huko pande ya bonde la Ufa, zii huko pale mbana walipata kura. Hapana. Maana yako ushuru wanarogota kila mahali. Watu wa Kakamega wanatoa ushuru kila siku. Mama ameenda pale duka kununua chumvi, ametoa ushuru. Sukari, ametoa ushuru. Umekuja Coca-Cola, umetoa ushuru. Umenunua mkate, ushuru kubwa. Umenunua mafuta, umetoa ushuru.
In addition, Odinga stated that the implication of the high taxation will result to underdevelopment of the country if the promises made will not be met.
Siku bunge hapa chini. Siku mawaziri hapa chini. Nyingine iko pale juu, ama sivyo? Cooperation between the national and county government is a must. It is inside the constitution. You don't have to be told to cooperate.
However, some of the allied leaders who attended the function demanded respect from Deputy President Kiage Simba to their boss in his line of leadership.
Oh, tunalaumu Raila. Watu wa Mumias mnakubali haya? We want the president and your government to deliver on your promises.
Waache kulialia, Uhuru alifanya hii, Raila alifanya hii. You are the people now who have the responsibility. Lakini mukikosa, kama mwanza kukosa namna hii, we cannot look back. Sisi tuko na chuma ile ya zamani.
With the drastic effect of the drought that has resulted to a hunger crisis and climate change in different areas in the country, the leaders requested the government to take consideration and support the affected areas.
Hatutaki kuongea sana because we have seen, I want to answer governors in the affected areas, wachukue msimamo. I would want them, if you really don't want to weaponize food distribution, invite ndugu Raila aje akaflag off chakula huko Garissa.
In the function, many have stated the good heart that Baraza's mom had. Even the man himself who invited his friends did not lack a word.
Na mimi kama gavana wenyu, mimi nitakuwa gavana wa kila mtu bila ubaguzi wowote.
Moses Okech, Lookuptv.
Moving on, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua on a Monday launched the Kenya Youth Employment and Entrepreneurship Acceleration Program facilitated by the Kenya Private Sector Association, KEPSA in Nairobi. The program is set to create entrepreneurial opportunities for the youth following the high rate of unemployment in the country. Susan Jerry with the details.
In a bid to underscore the Kenya Kwanza manifesto in line with the hustler's promise, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua met with the Kenya Private Sector Alliance KEPSA as he pledges the government aims to digitize services to access markets regionally and globally in order to create youth employment in the country. Gachagua indicated that the president has delegated him to ensure that public sector aligns with the private sector for the growth of the Kenyan economy.
The work of the public sector is to be supportive and to facilitate the private sector. The public sector in our administration will not be a bottleneck. It will not be a hindrance to doing business. Their work is to ease business. Their work is to facilitate the private sector.
Gachagua indicated that the president has delegated him to ensure that the public sector aligns with the private sector for the growth of the Kenyan economy. Gachagua has notably stated that the private sectors should not look down upon the current administration, but instead strive to collaborate with the government in establishing entrepreneurial opportunities, since it is an administration that is concerned with the youth affairs.
So you had been poisoned against us. That will be against industry, will be against enterprise, we'll be killing big businesses. We are only thinking about the hustlers and ourselves. The Ruto administration is so focused on your issues. You wouldn't know our meetings with the president, private and public. 40% of his conversation revolves around the youth issue. We are so clear in our mind.
Gachagua at the same time indicated the government is open to criticism and correction as it continues to serve the people of Kenya, noting that it is working on sustainable solutions to stabilize the state's economy affair to ensure affordable production, hence affordable standards of living for Kenyans.
As we want the truth, when we engage in that round table conference, CEO, please look at the president on the face and tell him, here you are off the mark. Here you are doing the right thing. Here you can change, and you'll take it positively.
Susan Jerry, Lookuptv.
Former National Assembly Majority Leader Amos Kimunya is still on the hot seat after the court early this month stated that he was wrongly freed. Kimunya had been freed on a cash bail of 700,000 shillings over charges of fraudulent transfers of public land worth 60 million shillings to a private company.
Representative from Midlands as it is right now.
Please, when we deal with the case, do we deal with what happened then or we deal with the current situation? Surely. How do you deal with it? If you are charged when you are doing something, then you cease after. So you stop. On 18th of November? Most of the year.
Now, President William Ruto's cabinet has officially received keys to their respective ministries, vowing to better service delivery as promised by the Kenya Kwanza government. Health Cabinet Secretary Dr. Susan Wafula has officially assumed office after former Health CS Mutahi Kagwe handed the docket to her at Afya House. The new health boss has however vowed to work on the structured her predecessor put in a place so as to better service delivery to Kenyans.
Hamjambo. Barely a week after taking oath to office, President Ruto's cabinet has fully reported to their respective workstations, ready to serve Kenyans. While taking charge of the health ministry, Dr. Susan Wafula has acknowledged the efforts put in place by the former CS Mutahi Kagwe, vowing to continue the legacy of healing the nation.
I look forward to carrying on with the good things that you have done, putting more blocks on the foundation that you have laid, and delivering our people in the best way possible. I also note that there could be a small or few areas that we need to improve on, and therefore as I come in is to request the team on this table that the support that you have given to Senator Mutahi Kagwe, you transfer, and now we continue to work together to deliver on the things that we need to deliver to.
The Health CS has also called on the ministry staff and heads to work together so as to improve on its performance.
I want to call upon my colleagues and to call upon everybody else within the ministry that as we land, as we are planted here for this season, let us make a difference. If it were not for the good things that Senator Mutahi Kagwe has done, he would be uncomfortable sitting in this room. So, keep it from there and make a difference that at the end of our time, when it comes, we shall also look back and say the journey was worth trekking, and there'll be impact of what we'll have done.
On his side, former CS Mutahi Kagwe, known for his daily COVID-19 briefings and comics, has acknowledged the work put forth by his team to deliver the country, especially during the pandemic.
For me, it's really to welcome you and to say that it's been a personal, it's been my personal pleasure to work with you, the teams around this table, and others not here, others in the parastatals and others quasi-government organizations that we have been working with, that I have been working with. And I never felt that anything that we did was as a result of my personal input. It has always been as a result of we, not I.
Expressing confidence in the new regime, the outgoing health CS has assured Kenyans that they will continue experiencing better health services.
Karibu sana, Waziri, because of your experience, because in fact you are more experienced in this area than I was, you are more familiar with some of the long words that they were telling me about, which I did not understand. Because of those things, I'm sure that you will be very, very successful and you'll get a lot of support from the team.
Dr. Susan Wafula has today been given the mantle to run the ministry at a time when the country is battling post-COVID-19 effects and cholera outbreaks, among other health threats.
Thank you.
So no handing over, they are both yours.
Former Defense CS Eugene Omalwa also handed over the defense docket to former Garissa Town Member of Parliament Aden Duale to run the ministry. CS Simon Chelugui has also taken charge of the Ministry of Cooperatives and Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises at the NSSF building in Nairobi. Chelugui was given the mantle with former CS of Agriculture Peter Munya and Betty Maina, the former CS for Industrialization, Trade and Enterprise Development. Samyedika, Lookuptv.
Internally Displaced Persons Organization, led by its chairperson, Peter Tena, now wants governors to ramp up relief programs in a counties hard hit by the drought to alleviate the continued suffering of millions of Kenyans, as well as expansion of disaster management kitties as part of mitigation measures against the drought menace, as Ian Keitani now reports.
With the statistics indicating that at least 4.1 million Kenyans are suffering from the effects of drought, and the government putting measures in place to mitigate the plague, the chairperson of the internally displaced person, Peter Tena, is now urging county bosses in the south thrift regions to prioritize irrigation programs in high agricultural potential areas to help in fighting drought.
Magovernors hata nao wachangie sehemu fulani ya kusaidia national government kuweza kutenga rasilimali kadhaa ziweze kuwafikia wamama wetu wapate kuweka mkate na chakula kwa meza.
Speaking in Nakuru County, Tena indicated that millions of Kenyans are undergoing untold suffering in the face of prevailing drought, and there's need for concerted efforts by humanitarian agencies and the government to help those affected, noting that among those worst hit by the drought are women and children.
Isizingatiwe tu ati kusemekana Northeastern. Hapana. Naivasha kuko na njaa. Na sehemu zile nyingine ziko na njaa. Na mkumbuke njaa ni mbaya kwa sababu wale wa mama wetu ambao kila saa wanabeba hawa watoto na wao ndio wanawapikia. Hiyo stress saa hizi tunapoongea, it is like a national disaster. Hiyo distress ya njaa inafanya mpaka watu wauane katika nyumba.
Among the 23 counties battling drought in the country, most of them being counties in the Rift Valley region, where at least 80% of the area residents depend on farming. Tena urged the government to fast-track the survey of large tracts of arable land and speed the vetting program of beneficiaries to pave way for the resettlement of respective allottees to embark on food production on the parcels of land.
Tuna uhakika watu wetu wakipatiwa mashamba mapema wataweza kuanzisha ukulima ambao president wetu amezingatia. Na hiyo ni kumaanisha kuwa hii njaa imekuwa ikitajwa katika taifa letu ilakuwa jambo la kusaurika.
This comes even as Uasin Gishu Deputy Governor Engineer John Barrot has assured the residents that the county government will directly distribute the subsidized fertilizer to farmers in the planting season to stop brokers from exploiting farmers.
We will provide fertilizer in the next season. And this is a conversation that we will be having now in the next couple of weeks to see how best to manage the subsidized fertilizer, so that we will be dealing with the farmer directly. And in the process, cut out any of the brokers in between.
Ian Kitani, Lookuptv.
All right, welcome back. This is the morning brief. I'm just smiling because we are not usually alone in the studio, by the way. One of these fine days, probably by the end of this year, we shall be taking you back to the studio so we can also give you some of the guys that we work with. Amwai, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing okay.
The break you took was not even enough for breakfast.
I didn't have breakfast.
And that's not good, by the way.
When I was just about to, then I had Chris say, where's Amwai? Let me look at him.
He needs
so
to come back, isn't it? Yeah? Anyway, so here's a parody account by, it's called HE, His Excellency President William Ruto. It's a commentary account. So now this is what he said: Kenyan police to wear pocket-free uniforms. You support?
Listen, they don't need pockets. Most of the time we see them with two small bags hidden somewhere in the bush.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that expose sometime back when they collect, then somebody rushes to the bush and on a feature, then they come back to the streets and sing as if nothing is happening. Somebody is somewhere manning that particular bag that has 50, 50, 50, 50. So they don't need pockets.
Yeah.
They don't need pockets. They could actually, and they've how do I put it? They're going with the trend right now.
Yeah.
You go to a bus stop or just along Amboseli here, you will find them. They have their own people, like some cronies. There are people who get into the matatus and go collect money on their behalf, then come back. So you think that this is just somebody probably, you know, talking to the conductor or the driver.
Yeah.
Kumbe they've been sent by these police officers, traffic police officers, to come and collect money.
Come and collect the money
so
on their behalf.
They no longer do it. They've hired. It's a big industry.
Oh, it's a
They've
big
created
industry.
Employment. Somebody wakes up in the morning to go, I'm going to knowing very well I'm going to be working for the police officers today.
Amwai, that can be a very nice job. What a fantastic job, though.
We are devolving corruption.
Bwana nimetumwa na mkubwa. Mpatie yake.
Yeah.
And then after that you get your cut, isn't it?
You will get your cut because you're working the whole day.
Because you're working the entire day. Amwai, think about it. I mean, what's your starting work time? I mean, if you've got to work for like 12 hours a day, that's a very good job, isn't it?
Yeah, it
is.
is.
In fact, I would even think...
And you can count how many vehicles do pass on that particular road.
Where?
So what percentage of whatever you collected that particular day do you get? And it's just you and that particular officer along Gitanga Road.
That's a lot.
So
that's a lot of money. In fact, you can even come up with an ingenious
created,
way.
But also devolving corruption. That is literally devolving corruption. Not at the county level, though. There is like in a different way of devolving corruption. To the common mwananchi. Yeah.
Anyway, got to read for you this as well, Amwai, but I like these things. Now, listen. It's a particular thought-provoking sentiments this morning. Somebody is saying, our parents are actually going to be at utterly shocked when they find out that majority of us are serious about never, ever getting married.
Will they be shocked? Let me tell you something.
Yeah, Amwai.
My dad sat me down some time back.
Oh, and, yeah, that's interesting now. I gotta hear this.
He sat me down, I think it was last year or early this year.
Yeah.
And we were having this conversation on his grandkids. And I was like, so Dad, now that I'm a grown man,
that's it.
I'm the last one.
Yeah.
How to say that?
What will be your last one?
Yeah. Don't shout about
no,
it.
No, I won't talk about it.
So you're like, okay, we are done. You've done your part in all that. Then he's like, no. Bado hujanipatia wajukuu. And I'm like, I have brothers and sisters who've given you grandkids.
You know that's enough.
Why do you need more?
Yeah.
Like, why do you even need more? Why do you need mine? It's not important. So yeah, that particular point is like, I don't think that is on top 10 of my agenda.
Yeah.
So we might not actually get to that, but that's a discussion we'll have some other time.
some years to come.
So it's giving me time to come and change my mind and all that. But before we take a break, Simba.
But you gotta go home again this Christmas. Don't avoid it because that's when the topics are gonna come up really good.
I'll be working.
Can we sign somewhere? Amwai has to go home so that he answers questions about marriage this December, because that's when you meet. Most of your peers already have kids, bwana.
It's shocking.
When you end up kutuma mkate,
it is shocking. Huwezi kuoa hapa because you don't have a family, and that's the thing.
All right, seconds before we step out.
Like we just said, it's 1st of November.
Yeah.
And in most cases we say no shave November, where people are not going to shave. Why? Because it's a month-long journey during which participants forgo shaving in order to evoke conversations and raise cancer awareness. Now, I know to some extent it has been, corrupted here and there, and people bring another no something November, but we are focusing on no shave November. So, Simba, are we not shaving this November?
Will we talk to the HR shortly after this? Yeah.
To show commitment, commitment in raising awareness about cancer, so that when people suffer from cancer, most of the time the hair has to come out and all that.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Because who knows? Because after this one now, some of us are gonna be looking bushy. And then I gotta, by the way, shout out to my
people will understand that this is our cause. We are doing this for a reason.
That's it. By the way, shout out to my barber. I don't know where you are, Ali. If you're watching, the guy close shop. I've not got a barber for the last 2 weeks. And that's why I'm looking like this.
Barber shops are not things you change on a daily.
No, you don't
change on that.
You don't change.
We don't. It's very. You rather remain bushy than go to somebody different that you've not.
That's it, Ali. I'm coming to look for you. Your phone number is not going through.
Somebody says we should apply that to all sectors, but this is the thing.
Amwai is not married yet,
no.
That is not going to apply.
This is what I understand. For a man, you don't cheat on your barb.
That's it. And your club, and your football club.
And your football club, that's the thing.
That's it. You stick with
those two, you don't.
No, you don't
change.
The
rest, you can adjust and have a conversation around it.
That's it.
But this,
no, you don't change. Because if you change those two, then you're a man without value. Anyway, we take a short break right here on the morning drift. Once we come back again, Brian and I will be sitting right there. Very interesting conversation on intentional living. Yeah. Probably one of those conversations are going to be about how you should not change your barber and your football club.
Guys, try and get that in Simba.
We are.
Okay.
Hi there, good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're watching us from. My name is Maki Wambogo, Sales Manager, Lookuptv Real Estate, and I'm here at our